We are now halfway through the 2025 Wawa Cup Series. We begin the second half of the season here today at the Nashville Superspeedway. This is a racetrack that favors the best drivers and teams each year. And with only 6 races left to go until the chase cutoff, you want to be one of the best drivers and teams at this point in the season. How is it going to shake out here today around this 1 1/3 mile racetrack in Lebanon, Tennessee? It is a tight racetrack, and you have to be good around every lap here to get a race victory. It's the Cracker Barrel 400, the 17th race of the season in the 2025 Wawa Cup Series. Only 6 races until the chase cutoff, and this race will play a pivotal part in who makes the championship chase here in just about a month. Let's see who gets it done here at Nashville Superspeedway. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the Nashville Superspeedway. We are here to begin the second half of the season. Only 6 races remain until the chase cutoff point, and this championship battle is very, very interesting. Last week's race at Charlotte, though, the Coke 600 won by Daniel Paulus Jr., who starts on the outside pole here today. That gave Paulus and a lot of guys a bit of an advantage in terms of making the chase at this point, but still a little ways left to go, but a majority of the schedule is taken up by racetracks such as this. Speedways, we got ourselves Nashville, Michigan, Pocono, and Atlanta for the next 6 races. We only got Gateway and Montreal as a short track and a road course left to go in this regular season, so you need to be good on the speedways if you're going to have a good shot at making the chase, and we know for sure, Matt, that Daniel Paulus Jr. is good on the speedways. Dominating performance. As a matter of fact, every lap was led by one of these 2 drivers. Starts on the front row here at Nashville, Ludovic Charette and Daniel Paulus Jr. And Matt, going to ask you, are they going to do it again here today in this Cracker Barrel 400?
Well, I'm never going to call that because I'm not going to call something that bold that's going to get clipped into the server after the fact. But I think it is fair to say now, if we look at some of these races of racetracks, that mile to a mile and a half race, throw in Phoenix as well. These two, combined with, I would say, Duncan Ward, have really been the class of the field at just about every one of those types of racetracks we've gone to this year. I know there's been a few outliers, but I think we saw last week an unbelievably dominant performance from them at Charlotte. And I think this track plays very well into Ludovic and DPJ's strong suits here today.
We'll have to see how well they do. Of course, they're starting in the best positions possible. And Nathan, this is a racetrack where it's actually a little difficult to make passes on. A very flat speedway. These guys go much slower than they do at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, so these cars have to be set up correctly, and if you don't have the momentum going into the corner, it's going to be hard to get around these drivers. So what do you need to do if you're starting deeper in the field, like Travis Crampton, who's second to the point starting on the outside in row 9?
Well, like you said, this is a tricky racetrack to get passes done. It's not impossible. You can move around a little bit, but you definitely, if we're starting on the outside lane, you have to get down to the bottom as soon as possible. Like Crampton, like some of these others, like Lochun, does 4th, but he needs to get to the bottom, and we just have to wait and see what all the lanes can shake out here, and let's see who can win. Maybe even a guitar here at Nashville.
Get that virtual guitar. Just hope they don't smash it like Kyle Busch did a few years ago. Hey, this is how they line up in the championship standings. This is the big moment that we always like to see at the beginning of these races and give us a picture of who's good, who's not right now. And this changes constantly because now you got fewer guys in the wild card battle with what happened last week. Even though Jack Haas had his issue last week at Charlotte, speeding down pit lane, getting penalized, he still ended up managing to put himself back in the top 10. He's actually tied with Tanner Parton for that 10th position, but he holds the tiebreaker with that 1 win that he has at Phoenix. Tanner Parton has never won a race in the Wawa Cup Series before, and I know he'd love to finally get one if he possibly could. He does have a better starting position than his teammate in this one, but it's Ludovic Charette, 98 points ahead. Ludovic's been the class of the field, and it's pretty obvious that that's the case, but after what we saw last week at Charlotte, we can probably assume that Daniel Paulus Jr. is going to be a challenger as the rest of the season rolls out. Travis Crampton still 78 points ahead. Logan Williams, 44 points ahead. Logan won this race 2 years ago. He starts 5th. Watch out for Logan here today. Laura Chung starts 4th. She's 43 points ahead. Both of those drivers looking pretty good if they can have a top 5 run here today. Kirsten Bell, however, starts deep in the field. She's 35 points ahead. Duncan Ward does not have a good starting position here today either, 28 points ahead. And then Isaac Nichols, Alex Amitali are tied for 7th, 22 points ahead each, but Nichols does have the tiebreaker on the win he has at Atlanta earlier this season. And then Daniel Paulus Jr., they're 20 points ahead. He is finally in the top 10. That's the highest he's been in the points all season, and he's only getting better from here, especially after what we saw last week at Charlotte. Jack Haas, last one in there, tied with Tanner Parton on that cut line. Got Blaine Keys 8 points behind. We're 6 races left to go, and Blaine is outside looking in. Bryce Egan and Nathan Smith, they're both 11 points behind. And you got Avery Alford 15 behind. Andrew Miller 16 behind. Thomas Troxel 28 behind. Trey Bartow 38 behind. I think Thomas Troxel and up are the only realistic chances to make it into the top 10 outright. You also have the wild card there, currently held by Nathan Smith and Andrew Miller, and they both benefited from Paulus and Haas moving up in the points into that top 10, and even though they got better, they'd actually moved them out of the wild card battle because they're in the top 10 in points now. Both Nathan Smith and Andrew Miller are in a pretty decent position. Smith 17 ahead of the wild card, Miller 12 ahead of the wild card, and Thomas Troxel at this point is really the only other driver in that wild card battle that has a mathematical chance at this point. Not mathematical, but a realistic chance, I should say, of moving his way into a wild card position. So qualifying yesterday, you know that Ludovic Charette won the pole, second straight pole for Ludovic, alongside Daniel Paulus Jr. These two, they are not legally teammates, but they are both under the GRT Alliance. That's Grattan Autosport officially and Team Velocitar. And they might as well be teammates, though, how well they've been running alongside each other. They got Andrew Miller starting third alongside Laura Chung. Logan Williams, Bernardo de Oliveira in row number 3. Tanner Parton starts 7th alongside Blaine Keys. And then it's Isaac Nichols and Jack Haas there in row number 5. Got Thomas Troxel there starting in the 11th position alongside Skep Silver. Leonard Kochmer there in the 41 to the inside of Darian Arnsdorf. And there's Nathan Smith alongside Drew Webb. Travis Crampton, Duncan Ward, outside lane. Starting a little bit deep in the field, a little bit deeper than they would like. And, of course, Kirsten Bell, probably the worst of this championship contenders, and also Alex Amitali, both in the same row, very deep in the field. We'll have to see what they can do. Only 75 laps in this race. Not as much time to work your way from the back to the front as what we saw last week at Charlotte, so these guys have to go for it early on, and who knows how it's going to play out. About a 30-lap fuel run in this race, so it will be a two-stopper here from Nashville. A little bit of a different type of fuel mileage / tire mileage race here for Nashville than most of the other races that we have in the season, but it always works out very well and always creates a very interesting race here in this Cracker Barrel 400. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off. We're going to actually do something special here today and let Matt Tuck take the lead call of this race along with Nathan Stapleton. I am still recovering from a cold that I had during Indy 500 weekend, and it's probably just best to rest my voice for this one, but hey, Matt's going to do a great job along with Nathan, and they're going to give you a great insight for this one. So a little bit of an all-owners broadcast here today for this Cracker Barrel 400. Hope you guys enjoy it. We're going to send it off to Matt here and get this race started here from the Nashville Superspeedway.
Well, it is going to be a fun one here in the Cracker Barrel 400. Nathan, 75 laps. Who are you taking here to win here at the concrete jungle of the Nashville Fairground, Nashville Superspeedway?
Well, I think track position is going to be important here today, and honestly, I think we might have someone get the second Nashville Superspeedway win here in the Wild Cup Series. Give me Logan Williams and number 95 here today, and I think this is at the point of the season where he's going to build up that momentum each week, and he could get a win here today.
I'm gonna be so real with you. That was actually my pick. I'm not gonna pick, but I'm gonna go between Tanner Parton, Blaine Keys, Isaac Nichols, Jack Haas here. These four guys all battling for their chase position here, and they all start right with each other today. So this is a great opportunity. They can see the front two GRT cars on the grid. One of those four needs to step up here in a big way today. But the pace car is down pit road. It's Ludovic Charette and DPJ. Let's get rolling here at the Nashville Superspeedway. I mean, you want to talk about a pair of teammates that are in such good sync, folks. DPJ and Ladovic Charette. Ladovic just skirted out to the lead there on the start, gave Daniel Paulus the room, and they're 1-2 just like they were most of the race. And last week's runner-up, Laura Chung's up there, but it's Parton on the bottom, Miller on the top. D'Oliveira having a fantastic start here as Nichols, Haas, and Keys are all shuffling for position here. Logan Williams is up a spot. This is a great run for D'Oliveira, and I mean, with the speed. Oh no, we got a wreck in the back. It's Bryce Egan. It is the 82. That is not a good start here to this race, and that is not what our leaders wanted to see here. We are under caution early in the going here at the Nashville Superspeedway. Tough break there for those guys.
Do not have that on my bingo card early on. Tough wait on lap number 2, coming to lap 3 there. Now this might open up pit stops. Oh boy.
Oh.
Strategy here, Matt.
Oh. Well, I was about to ask you, Nathan. I mean, how surprised were you that the front two didn't fight each other? Oh, we got some GRT split strategy. I mean, take me through the mindset here, Nathan. I mean, what do you think the games are going to be like here?
Well, I'm not surprised that the two GLT cars did what they did at the start, but this I'm a little bit surprised. The Dolet stayed out, Paulus, among many others, appearing here just under a couple laps, and I would imagine this would probably be fuel only. Have to wait and see here, and we'll see what ends up happening. A couple of draws taking tires, Paulus fuel only, and Chun and Miller taking tires, Tampon, I think, probably did fuel only as well. Now about 14 with fuel only.
Drew Webb, Eric Monaco. We got a lot. 4 tires on Miller, Williams, and D'Oliveira. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not what Andrew Miller needed. And Andrew Miller, he's in a decent chase position, plus 12 up in the wild card. But Thomas Troxell's putting in some much better runs the past few weeks. So we're going to have to keep an eye. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Blaine Keys and Travis Crampton had really bad stops and are going to be deep in the field. Blaine Keys -8 to the cut line. This is not good for Keys at all to be this far back at, again, a track position racetrack. So we're going to take a break here, and we're going to take a look at that incident here on lap number 2, and then we'll get back to the action here at Nashville. Well, watch the 82 Canva Chevrolet here of J.R. Ribbleton, and I'm not entirely sure what Kirsten Bell in the 93 V-Shop car is going to do here, but she saw that 82 and said, I don't want to see any more of the 82. So, I mean, hats off for being decisive. Was that necessary on lap 2? I feel that might be a little excessive on the 93. A big hit for the 82, and a big hit for the 9 of Bryce Egan. This was a guy who looked like he was potentially a chase contender at the start of the season, but his season just continues to struggle here as he gets involved in another bad incident.
Well, way too early on lap number 2, and a dive bomb city here in the Music City, and tough play for Littleton and Bryce Egan on lap number 2, coming to lap 3, and unfortunate for those two, but fortunately it was only 2 cars here early on, and of course we saw a lot of different strategy. Top 7 stayed out. Some drivers did fuel only, some drivers did 2 tires, and some drivers took 4s. So we'll see what ends up happening, but it will be Ladovic Charette, who was the first one that stayed out. It will be the race leader, and let's go ahead and get back to the restart in the Crackle Barrel 400.
Well, welcome back here to the Nashville Superspeedway. We have some strategy games here. I love a good strategy race here at Nashville. It is like the perfect track to have these things. Ladovic Charette leads. She's our point leader. Nathan Smith, our Las Vegas winner, is second. Great speed on intermediates from him throughout the course of the year. Carson Miller for Appalachia Motorsports. He is up here now in the 3rd position. SCS legend Anthony Hernandez is up here in the 42. Philip Torres, Roberto Crown Jr., Jesse Turner, oh boy, in between the top 2, and Daniel Paulus, Tanner Parton. The 14 this week is Skep Silver, Drew Webb, Eric Monaco, Isaac Nichols, Laura Chung. So we've got Nathan, we've got a couple of surprises sandwiched in between a lot of GRT.
Oh no!
Oh,
Tire.
wheel troubles for the 24. And Nathan, your guy Travis is back here. Blaine Keys is deep at the field. What is about to happen here on this restart?
Well, hopefully it's not what we saw at the initial start of the race, but with all these drivers on some on 2, some on 4, some with no tires, and just the ones that we started with, we go with a great one top 3, with a good restart, and the splits, I believe, fanning back in the background there. I do believe some of these drivers that faded to the back either had a slow stop or maybe trying to pack as much fuel in it as possible. How about Daniel Paul Jr. was the first driver that took fuel that went down the pit road to the inside of channel legend Jesse Turner.
And it's interesting, these guys on fuel only 2 laps here at Nashville is really not it's not worth that much right now. But if you get an event where this race goes green and you could get a potentially big under to overcut at the end of the race, if this race stays green, I'm watching this strategy from the 54. It is fascinating. It has me locked in. But what a fascinating top 3 here as this is shuffled out here. We have Ludovic Charette, point leader, goes without saying, I think the best driver in the series right now. Nathan Smith, a rookie, who's really shown at times on the intermediates he can show up and perform with the best of the best. And Carson Miller, who's been a driver that over the past year or so has definitely garnered a lot of eyeballs in the Sprint Series. And here he is up here in Appalachia Motorsports. And Nathan, if you remember this hot seat 50 car won previously. So we know that 50 car is fast enough to go to victory lane. A lot of cars getting to the inside of Jesse Turner here. No accidents so far. And we'll check in here. I can see the 98 of Travis Crampton is deep in the field, which is not ideal for him. And Blaine Keys is moving up a few positions, but it's very, very slow for them right now. And Blaine is losing points to the chase cutoff line right now. I cannot believe these words that are coming out of our mouth this late in the season, but Blaine Keys potentially missing the chase is a real outcome here. Not a single person, I think, thought that was going to happen.
I, for one, deny, and when that was made official with Blaine Keys going to Pacific, we thought that was going to be a really good move, and they've been consistent, but not consistent enough to be in the chase as of now. And we'll see how that plays out for the rest of this run. And let's see what Dan Paul Jr. can do here. Inside the top 5 now. All over the back bumper, almost to the 42 there. And it is still a mess in the back of the field. 3 by 3 and almost 4 wide.
Yeah, they are going all over the place here trying to get by Jesse Turner. Thomas Troxler, to his credit, in the wild card race. We talk about a guy who has the potential to race his way back into the chase. He obviously has 2 wins, but he is trailing in the wild card, the way the wild card system works, and being the top 2 on wins, not the top 2 with the most wins. But this is a good run for him. I like the way that his season is starting to trend here. Nicholas Samadillo struggling here for the moment to get by Turner. Finally clears him. He needs a big run here. Samadillo, I don't think, is going to make the chase this year. Jack Haas doesn't want to be mired back here. No, neither does Duncan Ward. He's like 28 up, I believe, entering this race. But anything can go bad in a hurry when you race here in the midfield. Trey Bartow, I mean, they are slicing and dicing this 47. He is just an absolute tractor on this racetrack, but ooh. Your pick to win, Logan Williams. I will say he looks like he has a really good car in traffic here today. Watching him make a ton of great overtakes.
Absolutely, and I mentioned that this track can kind of go all over the place if you have the car for it, and that's what that 95 of Logan Williams is doing. He's running the high side and almost running the 3rd lane, and he's going to try to get past the 13 of 8 Ralph right there. And I think if this stays green the first cycle, I think Logan Williams could easily get inside the top 10, maybe even close to top 5, top 7, and then we could really see a factor. But you mentioned Troxler, he's going to get to the inside and try and stop that charge for my pick of Logan Williams here today. Pulling on the move a little bit in the 97, and Daniel Paul Jr. is building on the move. He got past the 42 now, trying to chase down the top 3, but on the pole is Oladova here in Nashville.
I mean, it is impressive. You know, obviously I can sit here and, you know, I am on the payroll here at GRT and whatnot. So obviously, no, I definitely come from a biased opinion, but I think if we take the bias out of it, what Ludovic Charette has been doing, you know, I know she's definitely behind the scenes, not thrilled about the lack of wins, and I wouldn't be either, you know. But the consistency from this 51, these are the kind of things that carry over, and the idea of, with how competitive this wins, the fact that we could even be discussing a Ludovic Charette back-to-back championship run, and I believe it would be, if she were to do that, the first driver on the channel to win 3 championships in the ratings era. It is just absolutely absurd how good she is. Laura Chung having a great season, by the way. Dark horse title pick. I would not want to be racing Laura Chung heading into Darlington with the championship on the line. Nor Logan Williams, Thomas Troxel, Sam Medillo caught Troxel. Great pace from the 59 here today. And he's taking D'Oliveira. And I'm noticing, Nathan, guys are getting to the bottom on the apron. Does the top line look more... This track looks like the way it's aging. However, the top lane looks very, very good here today. Looks like we have a really true 2-lane racetrack.
Absolutely. I think maybe the cloud cover, maybe just how the lanes have gone up to this point. We have a very deeper racetrack the inside. Oh no! Oh no! The Zero is going out. And that's another tire issue. That's another one.
Oh no! D'Oliveira was having a he was moving his way through the field there. Coming back up through the field. Oh my goodness. Blaine Keys and Travis Crampton have gone nowhere on the restart. That is, again, Blaine Keys came into this race. He was -8 to Tanner Parton and Jack Haas on the cut line. And as we stand, Nathan Smith would be jumping in points. So that is not good. What is also not good, if you're Ludovic Charette, is the amount this 54 continues to just chew out of the lead every single lap. I have been watching this ticker. He is taking about 1.5 to 2/10 off every single lap. He's had a few laps on this run. He's taken more. And I want to note, 5th place Isaac Nichols on lap 20 of this race, folks, is 8.3 seconds. 8.3 seconds behind the leader. What an 8.5 seconds. This is unbelievable levels of domination that we have seen from the 54 and the 51 the past few weeks.
Absolutely. This is insane. And that really is like that because of how the restart was with all those slow cars that stay out on a little bit older tires, and that really shook up everything. But that's what I was saying. This is a very racy racetrack. Can win the bottom, the middle, and the top, but it looks like the outside lane is the place to be in. I'm gonna be honest, this might be bad news for Ludovic. I know Ludovic is in the lead, and I know Ludovic has been consistent in this point here, but Daniel Paulus Jr. has 3 wins already, and he's trying to get a 4th here today. This could be the summer of Daniel Paulus Jr., and he might make a strong case for this championship, and same with Lo Chun as well. And we'll see what ends up happening. We should be about 10 to 15 laps away from first round of green flag pit stops here at Nashville, and that's going to be very important for all these drivers that don't have good track position here in the back of the corner.
Yeah, most definitely. We're 23, 24 laps in. 3 wide here. Jack Haas is going to put Logan Williams to the outside, splits the middle. The 39 powers through them. And now Troxel's going to go with him. And I think he's going to try and take Duncan Ward's going to go to the bottom. Can Ward get the overtake? Oh my goodness gracious, they are getting slicing and dicing. But watch that top run. Logan Williams gets a huge run off the top. He's going to hold on to the position as we keep seeing guys really work here today. A very raceable racetrack with multiple lanes here. Drew Webb, Trey Bartow, Matthew Huber side by side. Alex Vitali, a guy we talked about who, you know, maybe some concerns, his pace to start. Oh no,
Oh no, we're wrecking a 10.
It's Logan Williams Trey Bartow. Oh, that's the big one. Oh, and there goes Semedo. Monaco.
It's the Nashville big one.
Oh my God. I have no idea how that started. Travis Crampton and Blaine Keys just skirted through there on the skin of his life. I have no idea how on earth that started.
Oh my goodness.
Out goes the strategy games. Oh no. Uh-oh. I hope nobody just plowed. I hope none of our leaders just plowed over them. Oh!
Watch out. Watch out.
Guys, please avoid them. Please avoid them. I think everybody looks like they're going to be okay. I think we're okay. Whew. I would be so, that would be so heartbreaking to see somebody have a great race ruined by this.
There you go. There you go. That's
there
perfect.
We go.
Get out of the way. Well,
perfect.
That's a tough wait for everyone involved and a tough wait for Logan Williams. Staple Drinks has happened again. And now this is going to really change everything, as I would assume everybody is going to be down on
Hold on. Who is that blowing up? Oh, it's Christian my bad. My bad. That's Christian Master. I thought that was one of the top 5. Nathan, the strategy games, they just went out. They went straight out the window. And something else, Alex was talking in pre-race. What do you do now if you're these drivers? If you're looking at a 30-lap fuel run, I mean, you're still going to need one more stop, but that second stop, or now third stop of the race, is going to be so fascinating.
Oh yeah, that last pit stop, if it stays green, it's going to be about that 55 to 60. And that could open up a whole new can of worms on, if we stay green up to that point, maybe 2 tires, maybe 4 tires. That could get very interesting. Wow! To the point from Nathan Smith.
Whew, Parker Davis, all the Parker Davis Enterprises, I mean, Nathan Smith and those guys, they've heard all the talk the past few weeks. Ladovic and Paulus, Velocistar, and Grattan Autosport, and they're reminding you, hey, there's another team in this alliance, and they are stepping up to the plate today. Unbelievable pit stop by the 06 team to get him out in front of the 2 fastest cars on the track. This is going to be fun. We're going to take a break here. We got to go figure out what on earth just happened here to bring us under caution. A very huge accident here at the Nashville Superspeedway has us under our second caution of the day. Well, Philip Torres, that's his old ride behind him in Laura Chung. Philip Torres, J.R. Ribbleton's teammate here, racing for Hergel Alonso. And it's not a good day to be being overtaken into turn 3 if you drive a car for Hergel, because that's the second car that has now been cleared out into turn number 3. And to be honest, Philip had less to do here than JR did. Laura just plowed right through him. Big damage to the 20. And then the 95, 14 scrapes by, but the 95 bangs into the 20. The 18 takes a heavy impact. Watch Alex Sabatali squeeze by there. Championship alter and move potentially for him. Arnsdorf, Webb, Bell, and then Blaine Keys. Skirts right on by. Bang goes LJ Semedo. Jesse Turner's going to get a little nick of damage there. Monaco's going to come to a stop. Braden Perez, I think, is going to be out of this race here. He's got some damage, and that car is smoking. Master, and they're still plowing through Semedo, up heading into turns 3 and 4. Rogel Dorn in the orange tractor comes in there. Diacomo, heavy hit for him into the back of Master. And that is a Nashville big one here. It's not a track you see big ones happen often, but when they do, they catch you off guard. They're quite surprising. And we're going to see a bunch of cars taken out here early.
Well, in Nashville, if you get a hit song, you become famous. Well, unfortunately, that's not been the case for Hergel Motorsports here today. 2 cars are destroyed and many others here. And very unfortunate for everyone involved. This one was unnecessary. Some close calls for Blaine Keys and Crampton, who were always struggling here today. And then Bryce Egan does something that I don't really know how to explain. Just rolls around, and I think this is actually, oh never mind, that was on Semedo. Went up the race right in front of the 9, and The bad day has gone worse for Bryce Egan right there, and he's going to be done now. And a lot like many others, about 8 to 10 cars will be done here early on, here in the Cracker Barrel 400. And let's see what ends up happening. That's going to strip away the potential strategy aspect of it. And that went down to pit road. And the 06 with a lightning fast pit stop is going to be the race leader. And we'll see if we can stay green and have a green flag cycle or not. But let's go ahead and get back to the restart here in the Cracker Barrel 400.
Well. A unbelievable pit stop here, Nathan, for the 06. It has him in front of his two Powerhouse Alliance teammates. And when we talk about this chase battle, we haven't talked about Nathan Smith a lot. But he's not far out from being able to race his way into the points. And for a guy he's only 11 points out, Nathan. And for a guy who's been in the wild card discussion all season long, how big of a shakeup would this be if Nathan Smith were to somehow win this race and race his way into the chase?
Honestly, the way that it's been here today, it's been a while, and I think the way as it stands, this could be a huge day for Nathan Smith to maybe not even have to worry about the wild card battle and maybe get some momentum in his own way and maybe even make it on points. And this is going to shake up everything. We still have one more pit stop to go, and we just have to wait and see what happens. But another restart. Everyone is all punched up on the same strategy, and we'll see what happens, on lap 30 of 75.
Yeah, here we go back up through the gears. We see a bunch of cars already looking to step out of line. Carson Miller to the bottom of Daniel Paulus Jr. Hello, Mr. Miller. He's going to try and send it to the bottom of Paulus. Oh, he's got a good run here off of 1 and 2. I don't know if he's going to have enough to clear him with how strong that 54 has been off of 3 and 4. Now the 6 is going to look to the outside. This is an unbelievable effort by Carson Miller. I do want to give him his driver of the day nod here. This is, use some strategy to get up here, but he is on merit holding his own against some very, very fast cars and drivers here. But it's now about to be a GRT 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the kind of tracks that we've talked about all year where they shine. And Isaac Nichols, a guy who's kind of been in not a precarious situation, but his point cushion of the cut line has shrunk noticeably in the past few weeks. Oh, Anthony Hernandez 3 wide here. Look at Sam Adio ripping the top side here.
This is what you gotta do. This is a really racy racetrack, but it almost looks like we touched on earlier, the higher you go, the more speed you get here today, and that's what Anthony Hernandez and Sam Adio did right there. Same with Charlie. I've talked huge about him all year. He's starting to fall off a little bit in the summer, starting to get a little bit cool. Blaine Keys is on the move finally, and at number 32 inside the top 20 after the second caution of the day. And same with Crampton, who was stuck in the back, and he's now inside the top 25. And the Miller has dropped back. And how about the 82 with some damage? Not too bad.
Ooh,
and unfortunately, a lot of cars have damage, and a lot of cars are out from this one.
Yeah, there's a lot of damaged race cars here in the championship hunt. Logan Williams and Laura Chung were plus 44 and plus 43 heading into the day. This is the good thing about building up those cushions, is so you can afford, something out of your control happens and you are not completely hosed. So that is a benefit that Chung and Williams have here today. Bad luck, but they're not in a desperate situation yet, which is always a good thing. But right now, it is the big four here at GRT this season. Smith, Charette, Paulus Jr., and Nichols. If this race stays green with some of the cars that are in between them and Avery Alford and Tanner Parton, respect Carson Miller. Oh my god, they will not stop back here. I've seen Nicholas Samadio in more 3-wide positions today than I have all year. He's going to split the middle on Skep and Bartow. Sam Adio is putting on an unbelievable drive here today, driving his way into the top 10.
We might need to change his nickname from Mr. Edge to Mr. 3 Wide here today, and like I said, he's been in a lot of that here so far. Shout out to Hernandez, he's been a mover here in that hot seat car, and shout out to the 50 as well. And I know we got the big four up front, but shout out to these to in 5th and 6th, doing a good one with them being a little bit behind everyone else, but it's going to be interesting. Another round of pit stops, and shout out to the 81. I don't think we really said this name yet, Roberto Crown Jr. inside the top 10.
Yeah, Roberto Crown Jr. finally got a win on the channel in the CXS Indy Light Series, was oh so close at Talladega, and a nice run from Jacoan Racing Enterprises here, but Sam Adio completely left Skep Silver in the dust there. Duncan's to the outside of Bartow. Blaine Keys a couple laps ago got through that big wreck on the skin of his teeth, and he's now battling solidly here inside the top 20, so damage control here for him today with Nathan Smith out in front. Same with Travis Crampton. He's going to lose some points if things hold as is to Ludovic Charette. But you know what? That's okay. That's okay. You're Crampton. You're in a nice spot in the chase here. You know you're going to have a good seed. You just got to work through some of these off days when things don't go your right, and they really build you up for the championship here. He's going to get to the inside of Darian Armsdorf here. He's putting on a strong showing today as well. Gutierrez in front of him. Brian Webb. We got some good names. We got some guys we don't always see battling, the fast cars here, fighting very hard here today. Jack Haas, Bartow, Sam Vitale. I'm kind of excited to see what Sam Adio does here. But what am I really excited for? I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm excited to watch what this top 4 can do. Out here on their own, 3.2 seconds ahead of Carson Miller. Nathan, this is firmly a GRT battle if, I emphasize, if this stays green. You think there's a little bit amongst these guys right now of, hey, this is the 4 of us. This is a great chance to try and one-up each other in the pecking order, all that sort of stuff here. Or do you think they work together and try and focus on getting, say, the 06 of Smith or the 51? Do you think how do you think they play it?
Well, I think the top 4 of the GOT Alliance, they all want to work together to a certain extent because they all want to win. But we've seen this race here today. We've had 2 cautions and no green flag pit stops so far, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see if we see green flag pit stops at this point. But I'm impressed with Nathan Smith. I think they made some adjustments to a wicked fast pit stop, and he's been able to stay out front. And Ladovic's kind of close a few times, but I think Ladovic might have missed the setup here. And Dan Polishini has been working on the car. Now all over the back bumper with a great one off turn 2, but the way that this track is, I don't know how we're going to get past for the 2nd place spot with this track being multi-groove all over the place. But great one from Daniel Polish Jr., and I'm onto something there. I think this could be the summer of Polish Jr., and if he wins today, that will be win number 4 here this season.
Yeah, if Paulus wins, it's his 4th win. If Smith and Nichols win, it's their 2nd. If Ladovic wins, it's Ladovic's 1st, which is an unbelievable thing to say. But she also, though, has the flex over the rest of these 3. She's the point leader, and by a good amount here. I want to jump back here. That Carson Miller and Anthony Hernandez have been having a heck of a battle. They are going at it here. You love to see 2 guys who I think Carson Miller is definitely top of the list of guys who are not in the series right now who deserve a ride next season. And Anthony Hernandez being able to do this. I mean, you're outrunning your full-time racing motorsports teammates right now. That's a good thing for Anthony Hernandez. Avery Alford here. He's having a great run here today. Love to see that, outrunning his teammate as he's trying to work his way into the chase cutoff position here. Roberto Crown Jr., they're having a great day. Tanner Parton, this is the kind of day Parton needs. He needs to be outrunning those guys at Keys and Haas, and he's doing it so far. Sam Adio, I have to say, he's having a fantastic drive here today. Up to the 10th position. I think he can get a whole lot more. I'll just pound through the rest of the field here real quick, go through some of these names. Duncan Ward in 11th, having a nice day here, ahead of some big names in points. Behind him, Alexander Vitale, not having a terrible day at all either. 12th running right now. Trey Bartow, nice to see him here in the top 15. Skep Silver, Blaine Keys, Jack Haas, all running together. Matthew Huber, he's having a decent day here today. Angel Gutierrez, shout out to him. Brian Webb, Darian Arnsdorf having a nice run. Travis Crampton is rebounding nicely. Eric Monaco behind him. Brad Stover in the 78, Andrew Miller in the 86. Just not quite I think they had a slow first stop, and it put them kind of behind the 8-ball here. Not a great day for Miller, but he has time to rebound. Kirsten Bell, she's working back from a poor qualifying effort. Good pace for her to get through the field. Leonard Koshmer, a decent day for him. Jesse Turner, to be honest, with how bad that team is car-wise, I think he's putting together a decent run here today. And then Thomas Troxel, Laura Chone both have some damage, but they're working their way through it. Justin Zidell, J.R. Ribbleton, Bruno Diacomo. You got Bernardo de Oliveira, who had to come down there and make a pit stop. What could have been for him, Zachary Fitzwater and Logan Williams. Out of the race, we have the 69, the 71 is Semedo, Drew Webb, Philip Torres, and there's somebody else there. Bryce Eakin, Rogel Dorn, and the 44. But back up front, Isaac Nichols got around Daniel Paulus Jr. And Isaac Nichols, I think this is a guy who's being slept on as potentially a championship contender, Nathan. We've seen some races. He has good runs, but then he has some weird things happen. But this is the first race in a while. He's not had anything weird happen, and he is right up there about to put the attack on this 51 of Ludovic Charette.
And I think we could see a real possibility here today, Matt, where we could see a 1-2 from that team of Parker Davis Enterprises. That 06 is really fast, and it looks like on the longest one of the day, Isaac Nichols got past the 54 and is all over the back bumper of the 51. And once again, these top four have a 6-second lead, just a casual 6-second lead. And but we're seeing it here today. It's been a weird one, seeing a couple of issues on the racetrack, and this could stay green or it might not. Oh my goodness, look at that one off turn 2. Isaac Nichols all the way down the back stretch on the inside, and side by side for second. And Nichols get the inside lane to work and make it a 1-2 for Parker Davis Enterprises.
This is a fantastic showing here for Parker Davis Enterprises. They got the track position on the 51 and the 54 in the pit stop. And Nathan Smith is holding this lead on merit. You can't say that you can't pass around this track because we've seen everybody do it today.
Goodness.
Oh, where on earth, de Oliveira? Are we about to be entering the pit stop cycle here? I'm starting to wonder. It's a little early, although I know he had some issues earlier in the race. Paulus has to be careful here because I think Paulus might have cooked his tires a little bit. And we know de Oliveira will be a little faster here, but here comes Nichols to the inside of Ludovic Charette. He's going to try and rip the bottom in 1 and 2, but we know how fast that top lane can be around here. Nichols, he's going to get clear, and it's going to be a Parker Davis 1-2 here.
Well, a great showing from this team, and they're all still on pit road, Matt. And now on the racetrack, Isaac Nichols to the second place spot. But the downside is that second and third are battling so hard. Look at the gap that Nathan Smith has. Is now almost 9/10 of a second, and I wonder how, Matt Davis is feeling about this, because he has both his cars 1-2, and I don't know of who he really wants to win, but we still have pit stops, and that's going to possibly change everything. And now the 54 trying to get to the inside. I think Ludovic might have put their stuff here on the longest one of the day.
I happen to think both the 54 and the 51 might have cooked their stuff up a little bit here. I mean, the 6 and the 06 are just pulling on them now. And I think Daniel has to be a little careful here. I think you just got to be smart here and let de Oliveira go. You're not racing the 0. You're racing your teammates here. Nicholas Samadillo just continues to drive through this field. It really makes you wonder what he could have done today. I don't know if he has a race-winning car, but he has shown an ability to overtake here, which really is impressive here today. Nothing really crazy going on in the rest of the pack right now. Some great battles, though, throughout the top 10. Lots of great action here today. Shout out to Nashville Superspeedway. To be completely honest, obviously, bias aside, this is some of the best overtaking and midfield fights that I have ever seen around this track. And this track is we've seen Nathan. We've seen a lot of races here now. But we're seeing, this is, I think, the most raceable version of Nashville I've ever seen.
100%. This is track. If you take out the top 4 and just take all the battles into consideration, they can run basically anywhere. And I like that this racetrack like that. And we're seeing it right here. Duncan Wood to the inside, Jr. on the outside, and Duncan Wood now is going to make that inside lane work. Jr. with a little bit of one, but yeah, multi-crew, fantastic racing here at Nashville, and we're not done yet. We still have 20 laps to go, and I'm starting to see pit crews starting to get ready. I think we should see the final round of pit stops and the first round of very crucial green flag pit stops here very shortly as possible with a jump scare here with 20 laps to go.
Yeah, Thomas Troxa. We are seeing some of the guys. Oh, Nathan Smith. I think we're underway. We're underway here for pit stops. Thomas Troxa might have just messed over Isaac Nichols a little bit there. No accident, and I love this, folks. All 4 of the GRT front 4 coming down together. It is going to be a heads-up race. Who is the best on track? Who is the best on pit road? This is a fantastic duel that these 4 are putting on here. Duncan Ward's going to try and get the undercut. Huber's going to come out of pit road, but he's going to leave clear room for his teammates. And we're going to watch the 06 and Nathan Smith. Arnsdorf is away. Zidell comes down pit road. Everything looks clear on track so far. We love to see that here. Let's go up to the front of the pit road. Miller got to be careful there. Charette and Paulus. Left side's going on now for these 2. Can they beat the 06 and Nathan Smith off pit road? The 6 to Isaac Nichols. He had a slower entry into pit road, but he's going to jump them again. Parker Davis Enterprises has been unbelievable. They have locked in today on pit road, and Nichols and Smith are now going to be running de facto 1-2 if everything cycles out green ahead of the 54 and the 51. An absolute masterclass in every right here today from Parker Davis Enterprises. And shout out Nicholas Samadillo. Used the undercut, said, I can get around Anthony Hernandez. He is now going to be running in the 6th position. Duncan Ward, Avery Alford, a great run here for the Team Williams teammates. Oh boy, though. Boy, oh boy. Ladovic and DPJ got to be a little bit aggravated here, though. They lost some serious time on pit road. And now it's the 2 Parker Davis Enterprises teammates. Sam Vitale. Travis Crampton jumped Blaine Keys. A great pit stop sequence from him. Angel Gutierrez, by the way, continues to run up here. Fantastic run for him. Skep Silver looks really strong today. Laura Chung's working her way through the field inside the top 25 with a damaged race car. Hats off to her and Rut Racing. A lot of really gritty performance by that team today. With the issues to D'Oliveira and Chung, they are putting in a very strong effort. This, folks, though, the wild card race, the chase cutoff race, there is some points implications here at stake here today. They have dropped the 51 of Ludovic Charette. Daniel Paulus Jr. is gaining, but he's not gaining a whole lot here. It is going to be settled if this goes green between the top 2. Nicholas Samadillo, strong drive here today. I mean, this is a crazy turn of events here, Nathan. Parker Davis, 1-2. The 54, 51, 3-4. Carson Miller and Appalachian Motorsports, 5-6. We're seeing some powerful tandems here working today through this field.
Absolutely, and the storylines that has happened after pit stops are incredible. We have a 1v1 teammate battle that could go either way between Isaac Nichols and Nathan Smith. You got Dan Paulus Jr. winning in 3rd, and then the Dover. I saw that the 51 machine got a very slow pit stop, and that is ultimately going to cost them a top 3, and not going to be win number 1 on the scene for that team. Great one for Carson Miller, and honestly, seeing Leo, I kind of said earlier that maybe he could steal top 5 here today. But if he wants to do that, he's going to have to be his own teammate. And Carson Miller is doing another shutout 1. And then you mentioned earlier, Crampton somehow jumped Blaine Keys. And it's going to be very interesting what ends up happening here. And Chad Cost as well. So many of the wild card scenarios could change here today. Same with the chase battle. Tanya Portland is ahead of Jack Haas, and those 2 are battling for the last spot. based off of points. And they entered tied, so it's very tight. And like I said earlier, Matt, this track is very racy, and we are not done yet with battles all over this 1 1/3 mile racetrack.
No, I want to see if I can blast the math through this really quickly on this. Jack Haas and Tanner Parton were tied entering this race. Tanner Parton currently jumps ahead of Jack Haas, which puts Jack Haas back into the wild card and Nathan Smith into the second wild card, well ahead of Andrew Miller, though, because of how far Miller is behind today. Blaine Keys is losing about 7 to 8 points at the moment on Parton, so he's going to be looking at minus 16 or so to the cut line, which is just terrible for him. And credit to Alex Sanvitali. I feel like we've kind of talked about him, and maybe we're not as impressed with his performances lately. But this is a clutch day here today. Running with Tanner Parton, you are plus 22 on the cut line. He's not really going to move a ton up, but he's not losing, which this late in the season, with 6 races to go in, or 5 races after this, till the chase. Not losing is what is the most important thing right now. So there's a lot of interesting stuff happening here. This is an interesting battle between the Appalachian Motorsports teammates, and I kind of wonder if Logan Williams got damaged, Nathan. I mean, we saw the pace he had moving through the field. Do you think Appalachia, could they have challenged the top 4 had it gone their way and Logan Williams didn't get involved in a crash?
I absolutely agree. I think all 3 Appalachia cars have really fast speed, and we see 2 of them are 5th and 6th, and I think Logan Williams could have a top 5, top 7 car here, and unfortunately got involved in that crash, and, I staple jinxed him, but, still a great one from Appalachia, 2 cars inside the top 6, and this is still being good. It's going to come down to these top 2 drivers, and we might even have some lap traffic in the mix as well, and we'll see on who ends up winning. I'm glad I'm not the owner of this team, Matt, because I would be very nervous, because I want to know who I would want to win, and I would hope that these 2 won't tangle in a... I don't think they would, but it's going to be a good 1v1 battle here, and we'll see on who gets a guitar in Nashville.
And worth noting, by the way, Nathan Smith came into this race. Jack Haas is the cut battle right now. Nathan Smith came into this race. He's only 11 points behind Jack Haas, and he's more than 11 spots ahead of Jack Haas right now as we run. So that cut battle between Haas, Parton, Keys, Smith, I turn the temperature up to 100 heading to Michigan and Gateway here. It is going to be unbelievable how intense this is going to get next week at Michigan. We all know and love what Michigan represents, and it is going to be an absolute battle in the hills of Brooklyn, Michigan. Duncan Ward, by the way, has dropped his teammate and has driven up to the back of Nicholas Samadio here. This is another guy, Nathan, has had an up and down kind of season, but he's strong in points. And I think Duncan's a championship contender. The drives he puts on, at some times, he is outstanding with what he can do.
Absolutely, and I think he has a long car, and looking to the point of the 1 was the second half of the 1, and he has been able to catch up to the top 5, top 6, and maybe he can seal a top 5 spot past 2 of them here, and we'll see what ends up happening. Fitzwater might become a lap car, maybe, but we're only gonna have 5 laps to go, and Isaac Nichols still doing a good job in that target number 6. If he ain't on to get the win, this will be win number 2, and give him a little bit more of a buffer on the chase cutoff, and then of course Nathan Smith, if he wins, it will be win number 2, and he could get into the conversation for not just the wild card, but also for the chase cutoff, and it's going to be a 1-2 regardless, it looks like, for Parker Davis, but we'll see on who ends up being the race win as Nathan Smith close in a ton the last couple of laps.
Yeah, Isaac Nichols, I don't know if he's getting the dirty air off of the back of the 99 of Zachary Fitzwater, or if the car is just starting to fade away, but you can see Nathan Smith is getting close enough to start peaking, And you can also see Ludovic Charette and Daniel Paulus Jr. closed in. Those two aren't going to be a factor for the win here, as Duncan got by Nicholas Samadeo. Hats off to him on an unbelievable drive. See if he can upset the Appalachia top 5 here. See some other San Vitale's gotten ahead of some drivers here. He's working his way up, but the pace hasn't been there for him today in a race that he needed to. Laura Chung rebounded nicely, but we'll go back up front here for the lead, because I think Nathan Smith, he didn't put together a sequence of corners good enough, and Nichols clutched up here late in the going, coming to 2 laps to go here. But Nathan, he's got to get by this lapper of Fitzwater potentially.
He might have to get around Fitzwater, or he might just have to stay behind him, and he's gonna manage the gap. I think this happened recently in the season where the leader just had to manage the difference of a lap car and was able to win. And this is what it has to come down to. Isaac Nichols doesn't have to pass Fitzwater. He has to maintain the gap of his teammate, Nathan Smith. White flag. I'm gonna take it to you, Matt. The final lap of the Cracker Barrel 400.
Well, here we go. The white flag lap here in the Cracker Barrel 400, and it has been an absolute tour de force from the GRT Alliance here today. But as they were running here with 3 corners to go, it's not going to be the 2 cars that we thought were going to come out on top. It's going to be the Parker Davis Enterprises teammates of Isaac Nichols and Nathan Smith. Unbelievable work on pit road by that team. Unbelievable work on track here. Nichols is going to get right up to the back of Fitzwater, but it's not going to have an impact on the outcome. Isaac Nichols' 2nd win of the season. He scores Parker Davis Enterprises' first 1-2 here at the Nashville Superspeedway in a dominating performance for them. Paulus and Charette come home to round out a GRT 3-4, and Nicholas Samadeo and Carson Miller 5-6 for Appalachia Motorsports. An unbelievable day for them. Hats off to both of them, especially Carson Miller. Anthony Hernandez, what a run. And Roberto Crown Jr. is going to get a top 10 on a non-plate oval in what was a very, very clean race. Roberto, if you're watching, I know you just won a race. That is an unbelievable drive that is a fantastic drive from you, Roberto. GG's. But what an absolute banger of a race. So much going on here today in this race.
Absolutely, battles everywhere, multi-groove galore, and we saw them literally run the white line up to the outside wall, and it put on a banger everywhere we went on this racetrack, and a great ones from basically a lot of the drivers inside the top 10, top 15, and even Blinky and Crampton, they were in the back all day, and they salvaged a top 15, top 21 here today, and same with Lotron and some of those drivers with damage. Still a top 25 one for Lotron. So a very fun race here today, and Isaac Nichols, you win a guitar here at Nashville.
Well, what a race. And a huge thanks to both Matt and Nathan for calling. You guys did an excellent job, but both you are pros at this, obviously. You both have been in the NR scene for many, many years. So I thank you both for calling a great race while I rest my voice. Well, what a race. And man, if there was any race for you to call, man, it was this one. Should have had Stewart in here as well. But that played out very, very strange. We had the caution on lap 2. We had the split strategy. That played out in Carson Miller, Anthony Hernandez, Roberto Crown Jr.'s favor. They all got top 10s because they decided to stay out. Nathan Smith got a 2nd place finish because he decided to stay out. Isaac Nichols, I believe, I can't remember what he did on that cycle, but regardless of the fact
he pit.
So Nichols just got out there on speed. That 2nd caution is what helped Nichols, of course, to get into position, because he was 8 seconds off the lead before that caution came out, as we had seen. And he actually did, in fact, have the fastest car, but GRT came to play today. Top 4 all GRT cars, but it's the 2 Parker Davis cars that had the advantage. 1-2 for Max Davis's team, and they also led the most laps there at Parker Davis as well. Very unique race here from the Nashville Superspeedway. Shout out to Nicholas Samedeo, had a great run. I think that 59, I think Appalachia as a whole was very fast in this race. Logan got caught up in the second accident and could not recover from it. That's a tough break for Logan. He had that buffer, but that buffer's going to be gone now going into Michigan, so he's got to be careful. Laura's going to lose a little bit, though. She's not going to lose too much. Kirsten rebounded a little bit. Not going to be too much. Duncan's going to move up in the standings. Sam Vitale's actually going to probably move up in the standings a little bit. Nichols, of course, is going to move up. Paul's going to move up. Jack's going to move up a little bit. Parton was right there. Blaine's just continuing to bleed spots. This is not looking good for Blaine Keys at this point. And, we could very well see Blaine Keys miss the chase this season, and without a race victory. I mean, when he was with Tracoan 2 years ago, he had 2 wins by this point in the season with that team. He's not even gotten a win yet with Pacific Racing, and it's just not been the right combination for those guys. And, I had a feeling this might happen with Blaine Keys and Pacific Racing this year, though I think the strength of these drivers, the strength of the Wawa Cup Series this season has been a lot higher. You got guys like Isaac Nichols and Nathan Smith and Daniel Paulus Jr. who all joined that GRT Alliance and developed a lot of their racecraft with you guys, and they showed it here. And Ladovic still, once again, a great finish for her, but not a win. But you got to be feeling pretty good if you're Ladovic Shred at this point in defending your Wawa Cup Series championship. Matt, what a race it was here. I know you like what you saw there out of GRT, but it's over a whole. What do you take away from this Cracker Barrel 400 here in Nashville Superspeedway?
Well, I'll rapid fire here. Obviously, I think the top 4, we've kind of beat the drum on this. The top 2, or the 54 and the 51, have obviously built the reputation over the past couple months that they are elite at the Speedway game, but we have not given the 6 and the 06 enough credit. Nathan Smith at Darlington, Las Vegas, Nashville today, Isaac Nichols won at Atlanta. I mean, these are guys, they know how to lock in on these ovals. Carson Miller, fantastic effort for him. Also to Anthony Hernandez and Roberto Crown Jr. Yes, I know they got the track position, but you can't tell me that it was impossible to pass here today. We saw so many cars were able to make overtakes. They got those top 10s, used some strategy to get the position, but they held them on merit. And then I do want to give a shout out here to Rut Racing. I know 23 and 24 may not look great on paper. Laura Chung got in an accident, had a damaged race car. Bernardo de Oliveira had a tire issue, had to be off sequence, and they rebounded both cars on the lead lap right together. That's even though the results on paper don't look great, with how the day played out for them, a fantastic effort. But hats off to Parker Davis. 1, 2. Hats off to the whole alliance. 1, 2, 3, 4 here is absolutely fantastic.
It was a fantastic race from start to finish, no doubt about it. And hey, guys, next week, you know where it's at.
You know where it's at.
It's the beautiful, beautiful Michigan International Speedway. Grizzled Graphics 400, of course, my good friend Murray. That is his own graphic design business and is sponsoring the Michigan race now, so that's a special thing for us. We're going to try to get Murray in the booth for that race. But we know how big that race is. And hey, Travis won that race last year, Nathan, so I know you're looking forward to that one. And Travis and his attempt to get in a little bit further into the points. He had a solid run here, all things considered. He actually did finish higher than where he started, so I think that's a win for you guys, though. I know you guys want to be competing with the other Fords, and right now that hasn't been the case. But Michigan's a different animal, and yes, it's still a speedway, but you also mix a little bit of super speedway into it as well with how they race there, and we're going to make sure that we run that race in the sunshine instead of cloudy weather. You may notice a big difference between the 2023 and 2024 races, and I think we cook a lot more when that track's got a little less grip to it. And I think that'll produce a very fun race next Saturday at noon Eastern Time. And then, right after that, we switch back to Gateway for a midweek race for the AAA Missouri 300, and then it's Montreal the week after that. So, starting next week, we're going to have 3 races in 8 days in the Wawa Cup Series, and we're really going to see this chase picture formulate throughout the next couple of weeks, and it's going to be very fun to see how it all goes down. Well, thank you guys so much for watching here from the Nashville Superspeedway. A huge thanks to Matt Tuck and Nathan Stapleton, and an extra huge thanks to him for calling this race. And we will see you guys next week in Michigan. Here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series after 17 races. 5 races to go until the regular season concludes. And congratulations to Isaac Nichols on his 2nd win of the season here in the 2025 Wawa Cup Series. Thanks again to Matt Tuck and Nathan Stapleton. Here are the points for the Wawa Cup Series. and I will see you guys later.